Pomodoro was a game changer for me. I was in this period in my life where I knew how important studying was. I'll keep telling to myself like, I have to focus, I have to study. But somehow I couldn't sit down and study for more like 5 minutes without just, I don't know, getting up and doing dishes. It ended up creating a vicious circle where I would accumulate work, stress about it, will make it even harder to focus, etc. etc. This was really confusing and probably one of the hardest periods in my life. And then I discovered Pomodoro. And suddenly working wasn't an endless road, but kind of a race with fixed milestones. I knew that I could just take the work I have, break it into 25 minutes, and have this 5-minute break where I could just breathe. The pressure dropped, and I was able to focus harder and harder. So I thought to myself, like, that's it. I figured this out.
Everybody has to know the truth.
So, what made me change my mind? Why do I today almost never use Pomodoro? Well, when you start learning, the real challenge you have is to stay focused for long hours. You don't really care about what you do. As long as you show up, you accumulate volume and you have clear results. But eventually you graduate from that. You find an activity you enjoy and you develop the habit of pushing through things you hate like a healthy adult of our society. And once you get this habit, Pomodoro becomes kind of unnecessary. Pomodoro really is for amateurs. Let me give you 2 examples. First, there are those activities that you really enjoy for their own sake. For me, it's like neuroscience or editing. I can do it for long hours without feeling burnt at all. Every time I work, I can see myself getting better and better every time. So I'll probably have this brain fog, this time where I just can't focus, probably like 2 hours after working. And there's this second case, which is where I hate what I do so much. It may be a new activity where I know nothing about, like for example, programming or selling stuff. And I'll always get unsure or worry, like, what if I'm learning the wrong concept? Is this exercise ever going to come at the exam? I did all this, but how do I know I'm even getting better? And that will pull me in and out of what we call like this zone. And even 20 minutes will become really challenging. And 5-minute break isn't going to cut it. It's not going to be enough. But even with the Pomodoro, I'll still have to force myself to do those activities, which is kind of pointless. So if not Pomodoro, what? Remember the brain fog I thought about? No one really knows where mental fatigues come from. But there's one thing you can do to relieve it. When you feel the brain fog, stop working, take a break, lay down and do nothing for as long as necessary. No WhatsApp, no cleaning whatsoever, nothing. This is the best method. It's plain, it's dumb, but it works. But why? I was introduced to this technique by the owner of Universe of Memory, Bartosz Tekala, an expert on learning and memory. And if you want to dive deeper into learning, check his website or try one of his courses. And I found in the literature a subfield called sustained attention in neuroscience. Basically, it's trying to explain why our brains feel so tired after working for long hours. And there are currently 2 theories or models that try to explain that. The first one is the resource control theory. It basically states that the brain always tries to get back to its default mode, which is kind of this state of mind wandering for different reasons, but the brain will always try to go back and wonder and think about stuff you really don't care about, your future, your past exploration, etc. And the longer you try to work, the stronger the will to go to this wandering state until you finally zone out. The second theory is the opportunity cost model, which states that the more you work on something, the less your brain values that and will try to go and do different other activity. The best way to relieve that is simply to switch. I won't deep dive on the research today, but those 2 hypotheses show that as the brain is kaput, the best thing you can do is either to switch activity so that it will value your activity again, or even better, allow it to dive in a state of relaxation, mind wandering, or simply staying still. From my experiment, the latter works so well because, I don't know, resisting to distraction when I'm having a pause, like doing nothing, just staying completely still, will make this mental fatigue just drift away. I completely bore myself out up to the point that my brain is like, it doesn't matter, okay, you win, like, let's go back to work. It's really annoying, but it works really well. So give it a shot. Oh, and if you like the video so far, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and if you can, share it with a friend. It will mean so much to me. So, should you abandon Pomodoro? Well, it depends. It depends too. If you are pretty confident in your ability to focus, if you have some years of experience focusing hard, and if you already achieve one or two cool stuff, in that case, maybe you don't need structured study session. But if you have a hard time focusing, if you're easily distracted, maybe what you need is those milestones that comes with the Pomodoro so that you can have some volume until you get better, until you get used to it. In either case, you have to learn when you can keep going on and when you just can't focus anymore. It can be tricky, but the best method is again to learn to understand your mind, because as always, nothing is smarter than your brain matter. And I'll see you next time.